Hey everyone, and welcome to the first module of Blender Procedural Material Mastery. Today I'm just going to go over the basics of what my workflow is and what you can kind of expect from how we're going to be creating these procedural materials in this course. So to get started, I'm just going to press Shift A, and then under Mesh I'm going to choose Cube, and then I'm just going to left click this button here to go into Viewport Shading. If you're in Blender 4.2, you will notice that our material will be black by default, and that's just because we need to enable a few settings inside of Eevee. The reason we do this in Eevee, even if we are going to use cycles to render, is because Eevee is the render engine used not only for final renders using Eevee, but also for the material preview mode here. So I'm just going to change my render engine temporarily from cycles to Eevee, and I'm going to scroll down and enable ray tracing. Then I'll open up this box and set my max roughness here to 1. Awesome. Now if I want to render in Eevee, I can keep it like this, or I can just change it back to cycles for later. Then I'm going to come down to my timeline here and change from the clock here to the shader editor, and it might be on this line style by default, in which case you just left click the drop down and change it to object, and then we can go ahead and press plus new to add a new material. And so the first thing that we're going to be doing when we're making these materials is we're going to be working from the top down. What I mean by that is we will start off by creating a bunch of nodes for the base color, and then we're going to move on to the metallic if applicable, followed by roughness, IOR, and so on. This is just an easy way to structure how we do things while creating procedural materials. We are also going to make sure we organize our nodes as we go. For example, if I press Shift A, then under texture, I'm going to add Voronoi texture, and I'll press Shift A, and then under input, I'm going to choose texture coordinate, and I'm just going to plug object into vector, and I'm going to use this distance as my base color. So what I mean by organization is, for example, this will be our base color input for this example shader. So all I would do would be I'd left click and drag these and press Ctrl J. No need to follow along with this. This is more just an explanation for what to expect. We'll also be left clicking our frames as well, which we've created, and we'll be using the side panel opened with the N key and then come to the node menu to then label our frames here so we can understand what each thing does. For example, I'll call this one base color. That's not all though, we're also going to be turning our shaders into a nice handy node group to allow for easy adjustments, and also it will make for a good product if you're planning on making your own procedural materials and selling them. So I'm just going to left click and drag to box select all these, and all I would do to do that would be that I would press Ctrl G, and you'll notice that this is going to add 2 new nodes, and if I left click this arrow here to come up, you can see it's created this node group and compressed everything into here. We can of course give this a name, for example, example shader. And we can left click this node button here to go inside, and if we want to be able to adjust things from the outside, all we have to do is plug in the parameters. For example, we can plug our scale into the top one here, and I can maybe plug my roughness into the second one, and since I don't feel like I'll need any of these other parameters, I can just keep it at that to keep it nice and simple. Then when I press this up button, you can notice we can now adjust the scale and the roughness or reflection strength from just this simple node group. I'm also going to be showing you some cool systems to easily switch between types of coordinates, choosing between different colors, adjusting the reflection strength, and much more with the help of some math nodes. Don't worry, the math nodes we'll be using are pretty simple and easy to understand, so if math isn't a strong suit for you, you will still be able to follow along with this course no problem. But yeah, that just about covers what we will be doing in each of these lessons, and I hope this gives some more clarity as to how we will be structuring our node setups. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with our first marble material. I'll see you in the next installment. Take care.